Welcome back to another Manchester United headline news show this morning. It seems to be headlines here every single day at the moment after that game on Saturday, doesn't it? I can't think of anything else. United are dominating them. Everybody's talking about them. Everything that happened this weekend, the controversy of Arsenal's game against Newcastle, the Ryder Cup, for instance, still. It's talk about Manchester United. What's happening with Ruben Amorim? I'm going to go into some reports that came out last night that are quite worrying. In fact, not quite worrying, very worrying about what's going on behind the scenes with Ruben Amorim and the atmosphere around Manchester United as well. Just to back this up, I am going to make a few calls later on as well, just to check where everything is at, just to see if all of these reports are actually real. And I'll come back later on with that information in the show later this evening, probably on that one. Just so, like I said, I don't want to be talking negatively about Manchester United, but I'm a concerned Manchester United fan, and I'm just going to speak my mind and give you guys the news as it comes in. There is nothing positive to talk about around the first team of Manchester United, that is in particular anyway. When I get into these reports about Ruben Amorim, what's happening at Carrington, I'm going to talk about what Gary Neville said as well last night, which was quite damning. And in fact, even MUTV presenters and former Manchester United players going in on certain players now at Manchester United. Also, this is getting to a point where, again, it all rolls into this report that we're talking about this morning about what's going on behind the scenes and concerning stories starting to do the rounds about Ruben Amorim and everything around him at Carrington right now. A little bits of updates on the transfer news at the end of the show as well. And of course, I want to get into your comments in the live chats. Please do get into the comment section after the show is finished as well, if you are catching up later and not watching us live. But yeah, get your conversations rolling in the chat, please, everybody, if you are watching live with us now, and we'll come to them very shortly also on all of the points we bring up this morning. But to start, we need to get into the reports last night. Sully Talks was out last night talking and tweeting and was bringing us the lowdown on the ground as to what's going on at Manchester United, the problems behind the scenes, the atmosphere. I'm just going to read out the actual comments, going to read out the reports and tweets as well from last night, first of all, and then we'll get into it. But this is the first one that he put out last night, and this has been reported and talked about by a few people already online. Ruben Amorim is described as a lonely man, in quotes, by sources in training. He often walks away from the team after losses. He sits on his own and doesn't speak to anyone. One says that the job has broken him, and he looks a ghost of his former self from first joining. The next one goes on to say the atmosphere at the club is one of the lowest it's been for a long time. While he is not expected to get the sack as imminent as this week, pressure is massively intensifying. This, again, we knew this after the result against Manchester City. It's always the same with Manchester United managers. Look, at the end of the day, this report can be a manager under pressure because United are not performing well. Everybody knows that. I think that's just general reporting anyway. I think that goes with the territory. Manchester United, you need to be winning, you need to be in a certain position, you need to be competing for certain trophies. And if you're not, then the stories in the media are going to go in on you anyway. Like we've reported several times on here, it's just what happens at Manchester United. But the worrying one there and the worrying concerns there is how Ruben actually is. And now, I've been in and around Carrington, and there's been many a journalist stood there. And I'm just going to be completely, brutally honest from my own personal experience here. There was a Sky Sports presenter that came up to me that had not been to Carrington for a few weeks. They obviously changed their reporters, don't they? And he came up to me at this one open training session and went, "Adam, what the hell is going on over there? What's happening? What is that look all about?" Ruben Amorim was stood on the opposite side of the training ground on his own, walking round in circles. Well, the whole media was there. Now, look, he does things himself. That's just his way, and that is totally fine. But it's the look that he's putting off at the moment. And then you hear the reports, and Bruno has said this before as well. He has said that we don't speak to Ruben Amorim. He is his own man. He does things his own way. Really, we deal with the training stuff and go through that, and then no one really speaks afterwards. He's kind of like a lonely figure, and that's what Sully says there. That rings true with what I've seen personally and what's been said in other interviews. Someone said in a comment the other day, actually, I think we lost it, or Ruben lost it, and it was clear to see exactly what was going on behind the scenes when Ruben joked about his job in an interview or in a pre-match interview ahead of a cup final, talking about him losing his job. And that comment came up the other day. Then you've got Ruben Amorim, who is sat in the dugout, not watching his team take penalties. Still not a good look. And then you've got a manager coming out and saying, sometimes I hate my team. And then you start to think, well, okay, in isolation, in the heat of the moment, he might say things like that. But also, when you look at these reports coming out now, do they entwine? Do they actually meet in the middle here? Because you're looking at a man there that's in public, really, hasn't really praised his team that much so far. Is there a disconnect between the players and Ruben Amorim? Is he too distant from the players? I don't know anything about his coaches. They've got no Premier League experience. They've got no Premier League pedigree at all. He brought in all his own staff. Are the staff not being able to handle what's going on with the players at Manchester United? Is it too much for them to actually get to grips with at Manchester United? The reports there that say that Ruben Amorim is described as a lonely man. In training, he often walks away from the team after losses. He sits on his own and doesn't speak to anyone. You hardly ever see him. And this is right. And behind the scenes, behind the cameras, Ruben might be doing a lot with the players. But the way that he is, from what I've seen, open training sessions, distant from everybody, not getting involved, standing way back. Yes, there is probably a lot more that happens when the cameras go down and everything like that. But why are you doing that for the cameras? It just doesn't put a good look. And then you're going to get reports like this that then start to get put out even more when things are going bad. And then everybody thinks back to what I've just said there. In them open training sessions, when the cameras are there, he's a million miles away from everybody else. He looks like a lonely figure. And you start to think this is actually real. And then you start to think, well, the players are not actually understanding what he wants from them on the pitch, because the performances, obviously, are showing us that. And then you start to put things together that are factual. And the facts are that he has got the worst record ever as a Manchester United manager. And the players don't look like they know what they're doing. He's playing favourites all the time again. And what we've got to look here is basically, I feel now, a situation where the players probably, from what's going on, are just not with Ruben Amorim. It just doesn't. This is what it reports to me, and this is concerning because this team needs to get behind him. This team needs to be galvanised. This team needs to actually want to work for Ruben Amorim for this to work. And then you've got the other situation that we spoke about yesterday on top of this, and this is why it gets even more worrying on top of it as a fan. Is that they're backing him. Do they know exactly what's going on? What is Jason Wilcox doing right now? He must be able to pick up on issues behind the scenes, because we're getting reports that this is genuine, that Ruben Amorim is disconnected, he's on his own, he's a loner, the atmosphere is horrible. Surely Jason Wilcox is feeding that information back, if this is true, to Sir Jim Radcliffe, Sir Dave Brailsford, Omar Barada, everyone who's important at Manchester United, whoever it may be. Surely his job is to report on the ground what's going on. And if they're saying that this is okay, so the results are okay, he needs time to prove what he can do. Has he not had enough time on the training ground to prove what he can do? What's Wilcox watching there? Does he feel like Ruben is actually getting a lot out of these players? We might not know, and we're not going to get the full picture because we shouldn't. And we never should know everything that's going on at Manchester United. Things should be kept behind the scenes that need to be behind the scenes. So when we're looking at this, we're looking at these reports, and we're putting it all together ourselves. What we need to do here is look at what's real. What we know what we're watching. We're clearly not impressed with what the team is doing on the pitch. You're hearing stories about Ruben not really being connected with the players. So is there an understanding level that's not there and it isn't good enough between him and the players? Is his message not getting across to the team? Are they not playing the way he wants to because he is so distant and he just expects them to do this? Let's not forget, this team as well, I'm not going to make excuses for them here, but this team is broken from years of different managers and different messages and a poorly run management team. Now we've actually got a structure in place and we've got people there that should be doing good for Manchester United, actually in a position and doing a job that they're qualified for. Now this team are, I feel, with Ruben Amorim, I think they're at a complete loss with what to do or what's next. The communication, I feel, is not there at Manchester United at all, because that looks like what it is on the pitch right now. You can only go off what you watch. And I'm watching a Newcastle side yesterday, yes, they lost. An Arsenal side yesterday that came back and won that game. I'm looking at a message that's going out. Every single player that goes on that pitch knows exactly what they're doing. And at this highest level, the fact that that isn't there for Manchester United, and it isn't, makes you worry as a fan, because we're being told that they're backing Ruben Amorim. So who's watching what's going on at Carrington? Because whatever's going on at Carrington that they're supposedly happy with is not relaying out on the pitch. It's not showing out there. The players don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to deal with certain scenarios and situations. They definitely can't handle adversity. So if there is a mentality problem which people keep on talking about, in particular Ruben Amorim, then is that not another get out for these players? They're hearing the media go on about the system constantly. It's not working, it's not working, it's not working. In their minds right now, they're listening to Ruben Amorim come out in press conferences and interviews saying, I'm not going to change. I'm sick of the system question keeping on coming up and everybody talking about it. I'm not going to change. So everybody, and the players will be listening to what people are saying in the media and on TV. The players are listening to people saying this system's breaking, it's not working in the Premier League. You can see players playing all over the place. We're going to get into that in a minute, actually, as well, and what the media's actually saying. In particular, Gary Neville, and a concerning piece from him yesterday also. But they're listening to the media say this. Then Ruben's saying, no, there's nothing wrong with it. But then they're looking at the table and their own performances. And who is believing in Ruben Amorim right now? Who is believing in Ruben Amorim in that team right now? Because it doesn't look like anyone does. They can say what they want, but obviously actions speak 20 times louder than words. And I'm just not seeing it. And to be honest, I look at this and I go, this is the biggest problem of all, my biggest concern right now. Some people saying that everything is as cold as it's ever been, and we've got a structure which is backing that. That's how I read the situation right now, and that, for me, is majorly concerning. I mean, let's go. I mean, to be honest, first of all, let's get into the comment section and see what everybody's saying on this, and then I'm going to get into what people have been talking about as well. Big one on Gary Neville. I'm going to bring up Wayne Rooney's look on this also and get your opinions. So get into the live chat, people. Give me your thoughts on this right now. There is loads in there. Quickly, quick super chat in from Adele says, being Amorim in since the beginning, but now it is like a dysfunctional relationship. He is a good manager, but it's simply not working for us or him. He's a fantastic sporting director at the moment, but as a coach, I'm concerned. I'm definitely not seeing enough. Please do get involved in the poll that we have now just put up on the channel as well, on the live chat there as well now. Can changing the manager ever fix the systematic issues within Manchester United? This is a question I feel that a lot of Manchester United fans will start thinking deeply about. So take your time with it and then vote on it. Don't just willy-nilly make the vote in there. Have a little think about the question that's just been asked there. Can changing the manager ever fix the systematic issues within Manchester United? Because we are now moving on to what? We've got David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Erik ten Hag, Ruben Amorim. This is now 6 long-term permanent managers at Manchester United that have failed since Sir Alex Ferguson. There is something really wrong at Manchester United, drastically wrong at this football club. And do you know what's more annoying? The fact that every other part of this club seems to be working right. What's going wrong with that first team? And I say that just out there because that's true. Again, the facts are there. It's cold as it's ever been at Carrington. But what's going on in that first team changing room? Because I look across to Darren Fletcher and the under-18s. 100% record, top of the league, flying. Brilliant. I look at Travis Binion. I look at the under-21s. Top of the league, 100% record, flying. I look at the women's team. And all these people are at Carrington. So what is it? Is it this little first-team bubble problem again? Why is everybody else at Carrington working well? And why is the first team, slapped arses, whatever you want to call them, why have they still got a problem? And why are they not getting what is needed at this football club and what's necessary? I don't get it. How can 3/4 of that club be working perfectly, but then the main part of it, the engine, you would say, the first team, the one that keeps everything ticking over, and is able to fund the rest of them projects and different teams around the football club, how is that not working when everything else is? The structure is there. Everything that's necessary is there. So what's the problem? It's either rip up the script on the whole squad or get rid of the coach. One way or the other, that change has to come right now, because if this team gets relegated on its current trajectory, we are heading that way, and I'm not over-analysing, I'm not over-egging this, I'm not going fully in on this here like it's the doom and gloom time, but let's be honest and very clear here. Everything we spoke about all weekend, it's all heading in that direction. We're worried about a home game against Sunderland. Let me just run through the fixtures. And you come into the chat in a minute here. And sorry, I'm going to come back to the chat. I've gone off on one again there. Sorry. My head's rolling right now. I'm just a United fan who is massively concerned with what's going on. And I'm overthinking sometimes, and I'm looking at this. But you tell me if I am overthinking it. Can we beat Sunderland at home? Right now, I'm looking at it. They've conceded 4 goals all season. We scored 7. We don't score many goals. I'm worried. Easy to set up, decent set up there at Sunderland. I'm worried about it. Coming back from the international break, Liverpool, forget it. At home against Brighton, forget it. They always beat us there. And then I'm thinking Nottingham Forest away, tough away game. United haven't won an away game since they beat Leicester, who are now in the Championship last season. Shocking. And then guess where we go after that? Spurs. 5 games there, sorry. I cannot for the life of me see us getting more than 3 points with the way that we're playing right now. And I understand this blind faith. He's your man and everything's working for you, and you want to give him the chance with the signings that you've made and the amount of money that's been spent. As a United fan right now, I'm absolutely bricking it. I'm actually scared as a United fan of where this club is going right now, because you look at the under-18s and the under-21s, and this is what scares me even more right now, is that what happens to them if this team falls even further? All of our best players get taken away by other clubs. And Manchester United are on a pathway to doom. It affects everything that's working right now. Because this first team is so bad and it's not working, it affects everything else that is working at this football club. Because if we do end up getting relegated, and people can laugh and joke about this all they want, but until I see, in my eyes right now, until we change a manager or change something in that first team from what's happening right now, and there's only one way we can change it really, because we can't get rid of the players now, can we? Then we are on the road to relegation. Look, Manchester United are huge. Manchester United are massive. And it's laughable to think that Man United could get relegated. But tell me what makes you think that anything is going to get any better right now, apart from some of these players that we brought in that had the right characteristics. Look how badly they're sinking. They're being dragged down with the ship right now. Cunha and Bumo, honestly, they're shells of themselves. Them Brentford fans must have been thinking, whoa, thanks for the money, when they seen Brian Mbumo. He's trying everything he possibly can, and I don't want to have a go at him, but he is being brought down to Manchester United's level. So too is Matthias Cunha. Decision-making is shocking. I feel sorry for all the new signings. I feel sorry for Senna Lammens, who's come into this as well. It's like I was playing football a month ago, and now I'm looking at Premier League relegation form here for a team that I can't actually get into. Like, what if this manager leaves? What if he gets sacked now? And then someone else comes in who doesn't like me. The players are thinking right now at this football club, they're all over the place. There is no stability in what Ruben Amorim is bringing to Manchester United right now and what he's saying. And I just think the players are going to use it as an excuse. Well, the players that we do know have used excuses before and got rid of managers. But what about the newer players? What about everybody else at Carrington? No one's talking about that and what this actually does and how it impacts this football club. It's massive. And all of that rolled into one. I know it's a bit of a mixed match rant there and everything, but I'm just putting it out there. As a Man United fan right now, I'm absolutely bricking it as to what is going on. And the more I think about it, the worse it gets. And there's nothing at the moment that I see can change at Manchester United that's going to have the impact we need to survive this season. And surviving this season isn't getting into Europe at the moment. If you're going to keep Ruben Amorim as the manager all the way through the season, surviving this season is staying in the Premier League. That is where we're at right now. There's nothing that's going to change because he's not going to change. And it's too easy to play against. Get some more from what everyone was saying regarding the pundits and former players in a minute. Just quickly, let's get into your thoughts on this. Seth Rollins says, if you lose to Sunderland and Liverpool still back him, that's not a United fan, is it? How many managers do we need to tell us the players ain't doing what they've been trained to do? Ollie, Ten Hag, and now Ruben. It's all coincidence? Question mark. Adam, our players can't even manage simple short passes, basic stuff from age 7. Next manager won't fix it. It's mentality, not just tactics. So we might as well give up then, haven't we? Beautiful Game says the leadership group, the only constant. Again, we talked about this. Maguire, Bruno, Dalot, Casemiro, Shaw. These players, like, I feel a little bit sorry for Casemiro in all of that. I think he has got the level and I think he has got the standard. He's just too old. But the others, like the ones that have been here for so long, this is where the fans are going to really start getting at Manchester United. And all of that talk, I remember it before we went into the game this weekend, the talk about Harry Maguire getting a new deal. Block Sean, Super Chat says, the manager is not the problem. The players are not the problem. It's the expectation and pressure brought about by the fans and the media. Boom. Not really, mate. It isn't. Because, like we said, we can't even get into the top half of the table, Sean. That's all we've asked. Just be up there and competing and not too far away. United are United. We are a juggernaut. We are an institution. This is massive. There are standards, there are levels, and they are being brought down at the moment. And I think Ruben isn't helping the situation at all. The fans, we're not asking for much, mate. We're not asking for much. We're asking to be competitive. We're asking to be able to go to a game and enjoy the football. If United were losing games by the narrow margins, having had a real good go at it and been real competitive in a game, then I think we're all looking at it going, there is time that's needed here for Ruben Amorim and we can move forward. But no, mate, no, we can't just keep switching just to blaming the fans. How can the fans be at any fault here, mate, at all in this? We're the only people here that are actually paying anything. We're the only ones that are suffering. Like, forget about the players suffering and everything like that. They should be professional enough to be able to handle this situation. I've got no sympathy for them whatsoever. They're Man United players. They're representing the biggest club in the world. And they're sinking fast. Adele says, coach drives momentum, players create moments, we reach goal but fail to finish. Our mentality is in key moments is the real problem. Mojo with another super chat, thank you Mojo. It's either 2 midfielders in January or yes, we finish around 15th, 17th again. And will Amorim be around till the end? It seems unlikely. Daniel Luciano, thank you for renewing that membership, everybody. Thank you for renewing that membership, mate. It was never this bad under other managers record-wise, and they had more off-field issues than Amorim. Had. That is something else to bring up there as well. He has had all of the problems, the off-field issues, being sent packing. And this is why we all thought we were going to be in a better place with Amorim this season. It just doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't. Oh, look, at the end of the day, I'm not confident about any other manager coming in. I don't want Ruben Amorim to be sacked. I think he needs to be sacked if he continues this way. But if he's not going to change, then that's it. That's where we're at right now. Nobody, I know, even the most hardened Amorim out people don't want to see Amorim get sacked. It's not like we're driving him out of the club. We just want to see good football. We want to see our team play well and compete. But Ruben Amorim coming out and saying we're not ready to play in the Champions League. We're not ready to play in Europe. The pressure is a lot for these players at this club. The pressure is a lot at this club. I mean, come on, you just bought a player in Matthews Cunha there who says pressure is a privilege. You're playing at Manchester United. The pressure's there constant. This is ingrained into people at Manchester United. You cannot keep saying using the pressure as an excuse for absolute inept performances. And I mean shocking performances. So if it is all doom and gloom at Carrington at the moment, the focus surely has to be on what Jason Wilcox, Omar Barada and Ineos are now planning and doing. And this is where I lose confidence in that structure. The structure is there to make decisions and look at what's going on. And if the football on the pitch is not right, then there is something fundamentally wrong within Manchester United. You have got to have the balls to make a call and do something about it. Get in there, sit the man down and say to him, you're going to be gone unless you change the way that we're playing. Jacob says, I've given up on Ranić, so yeah, focusing on life on Ranić. I don't know what that's all about. That was way in the past. Is this Ruben Amorim's issue or years of built-up problems? Well, built-up problems we thought we'd got rid of. Like, the standards behind the scenes and the culture at Manchester United has changed. And Ruben Amorim, alongside Ineos, deserve massive amounts of credit for that and the work that they have done. They really do. And that, I think, is massive. I'm never going to forget that. And that's why I always had hope. But as a coach, I'm looking at what's happening on the pitch. And there is definitely more in this team. I'm sorry. There's more in this team. And there's more in this squad, to be honest. And he's not using them all either. Soul gone from Manchester United. Wayne Rooney has no faith in Ruben Amorim. That's Wayne Rooney's thoughts on it, plain and simple. Gary Neville's yesterday was really damning. He said in his piece on Sky, he is really worried about Ruben Amorim right now. He's not even going to come out and try and pretend that he needs time and he needs to be backed and given the chance. He's been here before. I think even Gary Neville, who is always going to be backing managers, is at his wit's end with what he's watching. This cannot continue. Everybody's saying the same thing. United can't continue this way. It's not like we're saying, bury this man, get him out, worst manager ever at Manchester United. The football does the talking. The facts do the talking. He is the worst manager ever at Manchester United. He is and has got the worst record. And he is taking Manchester United backwards. It's just there. Everybody can see it. You can't ignore what you're watching. You can't ignore the facts. Gary Neville on Amorim, this is what he actually said. I am very concerned. I really am, because the manager's obviously a good coach. He's had a great record in Portugal, but it's not clicking at all. You've got to see what happens next Saturday against Sunderland. If that game goes against Manchester United, you're going to have to start seeing very big questions being asked of the ownership. Big questions. Gary Neville, right there, questioning Ineos and his part that he's had to play in Manchester United and Ineos. Obviously, he's the one who had that interview with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. At this point, when you've got people like Gary Neville coming out saying that, it's like, if he loses to Sunderland, he's gone. Honestly, I've just said it then, and all of them games coming up. Past Sunderland, it's just going to be the same question again, though. One game won. Everyone gets a little bit more optimistic again. We move back up. Eventually, so as the season goes along, it's like Manchester United can move up to 7th. We're back up there again. We're back near the European places. Then we'll lose a few games and we'll have the same scenario. Then we'll win a game again to keep the manager in. Then we move up to 10th. And it's mid-table, and then you'll lose a few more games, and by the time you get to 15 games into the league, you're moving up to 13th, and then you're stuck, and then you stay there, and then you're stabilising, and then you're trying to survive. And this pattern of win one game, never win back-to-back games, if you keep on going down this road, you'll survive possibly just in the Premier League. You'll escape relegation just. Are we all right with that? Is everyone okay with that? Because that's where it is. That's what's happening. Fundamental issues, systematic problems, history of Manchester United. It's the same old problems again. Right now, out of all of them problems that Manchester United have had, we've never been fighting relegation. And I think people need to remember that, because that's where this team is at right now. It's worse than it ever was at Manchester United, having cleared the decks, investment from an ownership from Manchester United, from Ineos, and all of the problem players that we all said we wanted gone. And we've got worse. How the hell does that happen? And this is why I'm worried. Like, honestly, I'm sat here and I'm talking. Even when I'm sat in bed, I'm talking to cars. I'm talking to people who I know on the streets. It's just like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you right now what's going on, because everybody says the same thing. We can't continue like this. We can't continue like this. Oh, my God. It is the amount of work needed at Manchester United after the amount of work that's been carried out is staggering. It really is. Don't forget, everybody, right after this show, we are going to be live on Football Talks again for the Premier League Roundup show, talking how other teams are completely moving away from Manchester United, it would seem. But yeah, we're going to do the Roundup as we usually do every Monday morning now. So that's going to be straight after this show live again. So we can continue the Manchester United talk if you want as well on that. In terms of everything else that's going on right now, the Gary Neville talk, he actually went into depth, Gary Neville, on what the hell is Ruben Amorim doing playing Mason Mount at left wing back, picking up things like this. It is ludicrous. Like, trying to find and shoehorn players into a system when you don't have the right players is ludicrous. It's not, you've got Gary Neville picking up on that, who backs every single manager all of the time, right to the end. You can't keep sacking managers. You can't keep sacking managers. Gary Neville really questioning what's happening with Ruben Amorim's decisions. Like, there are things, and you can talk about what Wayne Rooney said, the soul of Manchester United, everything that's gone wrong, and the big systematic, big problems at Manchester United. But at a coaching level, some of the things that Ruben Amorim is doing, he's burying himself with this. He really is. And that's the problem that I think a lot of people have got now. It's getting to a point where United fans, United pundits, ex-players, and just for instance, Wes Brown and Simpson on MUTV are going in on Dallo like we were as fans. Like, these guys are actually supporters as well. These guys work for the channel. And you all know, if you work for MUTV, you have to be fully pro-Manchester United. You cannot say anything. And that's just the way it is with every channel. And everyone's got to be the same. That's the job. But for them to be coming in and going in on Dallo, and everyone knows the moment, like, clearly, that clip of Dallo running away from his man when the ball's going to his man, you're like, what is going on here? Has someone just got Dallo on a remote control and just gone and turned him away from the action or something? I'm like, God, it's like playing John Madden, where you just have a player running across in a play. Honestly, Dallo in that moment, but Dallo throughout the whole game. And then you go into details more and you look into the bigger problems behind it. It's like, why is Ruben even playing Dallo? Because he wants to play his system. That's the answer. And that's the system that isn't working. So you're bringing a player who's out of form, unfit, hasn't played a game for three or 4 weeks now, straight into the melee against a very, very intense Brighton side away from home, and expect that man to actually work wonders. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's not a wing-back. He's never been a wing-back. He's never been good going forward. He's a full-back. And with a winger in front of Dallo, you could probably expect a more of a solid game. But while you're isolating Dallo, who hasn't got the capabilities on his own to run that whole line, if you're isolating him there against a Brentford side like that, I can't believe I'm saying like a Brentford side like that. No disrespect to Brentford, by the way, they deserve the win. But that's how low we've actually got now. We're actually concerned about Brentford like we was going into that game, and then we're proved right when the game started. Madness, absolute madness. Adele, sorry, I've already read that one out. Playing short of Maguire in 2025, he's got to go. That's a lot of people's opinions. The old leadership group is something we talked about a lot last night. That, again, but then you've got people like Wayne Rooney saying that Harry Maguire should be starting for Manchester United. I'm sorry, no, it needs to change. Honestly, as someone made a great comment the other day, and they're never going to do it, to judge where Manchester United are, play them against the under-18s or the under-21s. First team against under-21s and see who comes out on top. It'll be fascinating to watch a match like that. Because I tell you what, that under-21s team, that under-18s team, would absolutely scare the hell out of Manchester United's first team. They'd be more combative and better in the Premier League than our first team at the moment. And do you know what? I feel bad in saying that as well at the same time, because there are certain players in that Man United first team that don't deserve the criticism overall that we're giving right now because United are so bad. There are players I really do feel sorry for in that team right now at Manchester United. And I don't want to tarnish them with the same brush. But it's United. It's a team. And they're all being coached by the same man. Why can't they figure it out? What's going on? Love Aaron, but we need a reality check. Lower teams are better than in the past. He has been here for a year, and we are no better. Actually, worse. Look, the other thing, by the way, I said, like, and people can say I'm sensationalising the relegation side of things, but we haven't got Leicester, Southamptons, and other crap teams that we had last season, have we? We haven't got them teams in the Premier League this season. You look at the teams that went down last season, they were all the Championship sides pretty much, weren't they? It was pitiful. It was horrible. They was completely out of their depth last season. All of the teams that came up. Look at the teams that have come up this season so far. Look where Sunderland are. Look where Leeds are. There are no gimme games. Wolves, who are bottom of the league, nearly got 3 points against Spurs this weekend. Aston Villa, who were bottom 2, beat Fulham, who have been going great guns under Silva. There's no let-off at all. Every single game is a tough game for Manchester United. And like I said, I think we'll beat Sunderland, somehow scrape something. If he doesn't beat Sunderland at weekend, it's over. The international break, the call has to be made. And I think Gary Neville pretty much saying that as well sums up where every single Man United fan is at the moment. The relegation thing is real. You can laugh it off all you want. You can do. Like, our expectation levels, I'm literally talking about it right now, and surviving in the Premier League seems ridiculous, but the reality hurts, doesn't it? Facts hurt, and you can't ignore them. Don't forget, everybody, in terms of the watch-alongs as well, we have got our live pub watch-along. That is in the description as well. Click on that link if you want to get tickets to come and join me and a load of other subscribers here on Forever United TV. That is for the Spurs game on the 8th of November. Will Ruben be in situ by then? Hopefully he is, because that means that United have completely turned it around and we're playing great football. We will see, won't we? At the moment, that's not looking good. But, yeah, come and join us here on Forever United TV at the pub before the Spurs game on the 8th of November. Tickets are available now. The room is booked and everything is ready to go, everybody. So if you want to be here, be part of it, get on the channel as well. We're having a full day streaming everything from about 11:30 all the way through into the afternoon. We can have a chat. And if we do lose, at least we'll be able to have a pint and drown our sorrows at the same time, won't we, everyone? So, yeah, get involved in that, please, if you want. And come and say hello and have a bit of a chat about everything that is going on in person. Can't ask for much more. We have a new problem player in Bruno, says Adele. I know this will summon the player FC barricade, but please see this. Please see his captaincy and qualities before you attack me. Look, Bruno's captaincy qualities off the pitch are uncomparable, like brilliant. He lives and breathes Manchester United. And he does a lot for this football club. He does. On the pitch, you could look at it that way. Yeah. We need to ask why Bruno is missing penalties. A lot of people miss penalties. Take him off them. Bring somebody else on. Put Brian Mbeumo or Matheus Cunha on penalties. Or even Benjamin Sesko. I think Bruno should be taken off them now. I think Bruno's responsibilities need to be taken away. Set pieces, penalties, take Bruno off them. Bruno needs to rediscover himself very, very quickly. The fan base are turning on him and turning on him fast. He's one of the players I do feel sorry for, though, because he has always had that Marmite effect with the Man United fan base. And now it is just pure hate on Bruno Fernandez because Ruben's playing him in a system where he's awful. And I do feel sorry for him in that position. It's not right. We can properly judge him at number 10 when he's fighting against Cunha and Mbeumo. At the moment, he doesn't get in against Cunha and Mbeumo. He's on the bench. And Ruben's playing him in that midfield to the sacrifice of Kobbie Mainoo, who might actually fit it better and be more disciplined. But Ruben is destroying what Bruno Fernandes had. And that's something that I cannot forgive because I know that there's more to Bruno Fernandes. There is. And he has always shown up for United. And what Ruben's doing to him right now and not recognising, I think is a crime. Football crime. And you can go on to me all you want about my Bruno love and everything like that. And look, I know he's crap at the moment. And I wouldn't play him in this team. I'm dropping him to the bench. Just so you're all clear on this. I think Ruben's destroying him. I really do. I'm not going to back out on that either. We have good defenders and attackers at terrible midfield. If we don't change now, Amorim doesn't trust himself playing any other system. That scares me. Does he know any other system? That's another concern. It was always going to get worse before it gets better. A season in the Championship might help get rid of the American money-grabbing owners. Wouldn't love to see it. That's the wrong words. I would be intrigued to see what happens to Manchester United if we did drop down into the Championship. Would we be lost in the wilderness? It would be the biggest embarrassment in world football. The amount of money that Manchester United makes and getting relegated. Even now, record revenues. And we're on the brink of being in a relegation fight. Like I said before, I said it yesterday, I think if West Ham actually get anything at Everton tonight, then I think we're 2 points off. I think that's what it works out at. 2 points off the relegation zone after 6 games. Look, you could say, look at the table. Table never lies. Look at what Eddie Howe's Newcastle are putting out there. They've had 1 win in 6 and they're lower than us. But they look like they're actually competing. And that's the thing. If you're a Manchester United fan now and you are in Newcastle's position, you're not even kicking up a stink. There's a lot going on behind the scenes at Newcastle. Not want to bring that into it. But look at the way that Newcastle are playing and the way the players are playing for the manager. Newcastle are worse than us this season right now in the table. And the table never lies. We stand by that. But I would feel 20 times better off if I was a Newcastle fan right now than a Man United fan. That there has to ring true with everybody right now. Like, look where Newcastle are. They are doing well, but are below us in terms of their performance level. The results, though, and you know the results will come for Newcastle, that's the problem. United, you can't see the next result coming. Oh, it's scary. It is scary. Thanks for the super chat again, Sean. Andreas there as well with another one. Will, welcome to the Members Club, my friend. Andreas has just come in again and said, leaders group equals new bomb squad. A lot of people would echo that comment there. They really would. I think them players gone in the summer would make a difference to Manchester United. None of the old habits are there if all of them players are gone. I said this before, just so unclear. We've got quite a lot of people in the room today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, by the way. Please pop a like on the video. It's just pure, brutal honesty right now, and that's all we can do. My summer, in terms of outgoings, obviously, don't renew Jadon Sancho's contract. Let him go. Acts like a big club. Malacia, gone. Heaton, gone. Harry Maguire, gone. Don't renew their contracts. All out the football club. The old guard, completely out. The Nightmares, fully gone. So there's most of the old guard and the bomb squad completely out of the door now. Malacia and Sancho, the only ones clinging around. Obviously, make sure Rashford's doing well at Barca at the moment, so it's looking good that we're just going to get that deal out of the way. So, Rashford, Sancho, Malacia, gone. You're looking at Maguire, gone. Malacia, gone. Heaton, gone. All them contracts over. Casemiro is another one. He's gone. He's not getting a new renewed contract. 1 year left on Luke Shaw. Terminate that contract. Pay him. Leave Luke Shaw. That's it. That's another big statement made. Bruno Fernandez, 60, 70 million to the Saudis, whatever it takes. I think it's time for him to move on. United move forward. Dalot, I'd loan him out because no one's going to take him. I'd loan him out with an obligation and do what we did like we did this summer. Just get him out of the door because he's not going to get any better at Manchester United. If you give me that, then I'm thinking time United's structure is looking at what's going on at the football club and is recognising the problems at the football club. That's what I would do with the summer coming up. The problem we've got is, where will we be before that summer comes? And that's the concern right now for me personally, and why we're talking the way we are in this show this morning. Should we blame someone that wanted to leave in the beginning of the year? The board is the issue, not him. Next coach will have the same issues, says Evan. Look, good point. Ruben Amorim wanted to leave, didn't he? He wanted out of Manchester United and was convinced to stay. We've actually had 1,300 votes on the poll this morning. Can changing the manager ever fix the systematic issues with Manchester United? No, this will happen again. 52% winning that vote right now. Huggle says, I would love Amorim to play a 4-2-1-3. I would love him to play that as well. That's basically a made-up 4-3-3. But the players we've got would be miles better for that. Kyle, thanks for coming in, mate. Cheers, buddy. I'll see you later. Before he goes, he says, somehow must be a clear out of the old guard. Has to be. My worry is a new manager again. See Bruno and the leader, and we start this all over again. Yeah, it is a worry that a new manager comes in and then sees the players and thinks he can get more out of them. Every manager trusts in his own ability, doesn't he? So he would want to get more out of the players and feels like he can get more out of the players. So, yeah, that is a worry as well. I get that one. Bilo says, no bid was made, so there is no facts. United allegedly wanted around 100 million, which I think people are talking in the chat there about Bruno Fernandez. Don't forget, everybody, the last few days of Match Bingo as well. Scan the QR code on your screen. At least we could actually try and win some money while the football is going on. A few people were successful over the weekend. Again, the Match Bingo bonus that we have here on FUTV before this month ends, 200% deposit boost. So if you download the app, even if you've got the app already, you go to the promo code when depositing money, put in FUTV all caps, 200% boost on that promo code from the money that's in your account. Go get it done now, everybody. Well, there's still games to play. Champions League this week. We've got Everton against West Ham tonight as well. All of them games that you can get your wins on Match Bingo there. Just ask Gems in the chat there, as she'll tell you she's 600 quid up already right now, which is absolutely ridiculous but amazing. But hopefully, out of all of this doom and gloom, we can actually get some winners as well, just to try and cheer ourselves up a little bit. It's a bit of a loaded question, to be honest, because nobody thinks a new manager will fix everything, but it'll improve the team and the results. Question mark. I know. It's the unknown that kills you. The unknown is the big concern, I think, for all Man United fans right now. And that's what we're up against. We are fully up against we're not knowing what's going to happen next. Except Ruben Amorim, again, needing a win in a game at Old Trafford. It's the same pattern. I don't want to be going into a game and thinking, whoa, yes, we just got the win. That's all we needed. I want to go into a game thinking we're just building onto something, but we're not. We're always just taking that little step forward again, knowing in our heads inevitably there's another 2 steps going backwards the following weeks. We know it is. If we beat Sunderland, does it matter? It keeps Ruben in a job while the international breaks on, but then we'll lose to Liverpool. The same questions are coming again. And then we've got Brighton at home. And it isn't so much of a gimme sort of home game, that, is it? That's a record game. Well, you could say that Chelsea was a difficult game for United, but our record against Chelsea spans over a decade since they've won there. The last 3 games against Brighton at home, we've lost. So, again, concerns. Then we go to, obviously, Nottingham Forest after that. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not confident there. Either last season proved that. United didn't even lay a finger on Nottingham Forest last season. They beat us twice in the league last season, so not confident there. And then you're looking at Spurs at the end of the month. At the end of October going into November when we're doing our pub watch along. And I'm thinking, I'm bricking it. Again, I'm really concerned about that game, because our record against Spurs last season, 4 defeats in 1 season. There's nothing that tells you should have any confidence, like we didn't have going into the Brentford game. Last season they battered us. Same again at weekend. These teams are finding it easy to play against Manchester United now. That's the problem. We are easy to play against. We really are. So, again, there's zero confidence within anybody going into these games. And that's the problem I've got. Where I know we can be competitive at home in games like Chelsea, Arsenal, Burnley, Sunderland coming up. That'll be 3 wins in a home. 3 wins in a row at home, by the way, which is something to actually try and be positive about if we beat Sunderland. But you know we're going to lose to Liverpool probably. And then the Brighton game, Forest and Spurs, I've got no hope for. It's the fact that when we come back from the next international break, we've got 3 away games in that block of 4. So, yeah, here we go. That's the problem we've got. Right, everybody. We can continue this conversation. We're going to be talking about everything that's gone down in the week that was, in the weekend that was, the Premier League just gone. So get across to Football Talks now. We're going to wrap things up there. Massive thank you to everybody again in the live chat, the mods, the super chats, the new members, everybody who's liked the video. Pop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, everybody, please. And thank you again for joining us. Come and see us now over on Football Talks, where we continue this conversation along with everything else that went down in the Premier League this weekend. Cheers, everybody. I'll see you over there in just a moment.